Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
You know, I'm sure the WBA are trolling me because each and every month when I do the rankings across all the sanctioning bodies, I always copy in said sanctioning body. So the WBA will be absolutely no different. And I know that they watch it because a little blue tick comes up that they've seen it. I think they're starting to troll me because it's not getting any better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And this one is probably the worst of the lot. But we do have to give WBA credit because each and every month they are always the first out the blocks with their new rankings. The other sanctioning bodies, they do tend to drag their heels a little bit. But that's about as far as the credit is going to go when it comes to the WBA. No more am I going to be giving these guys any kind of credit in this video. So be pre-warned. Let's start off with the rankings. The champions, of course, Anthony Joshua, the super champion. The regular champion, Trevor Bryan. Champion in recess, Manuel Charr. The gold champion, Robert Helenius. Right, now to go down the top 15. You're going to like this one. Number 1, Daniel Dubois. Number 2, Alexander Usyk. Number 3, Luis Ortiz. Number 4, Andy Ruiz Jr. Number 5, Charles Martin. Number 6, Michael Hunter. Number 7, Ajit Kabiel. Number 8, Adam Karnacki. Number 9, Gerald Washington. Number 10, Mark Damori. And you know we're going to talk about that one. Number 11, Jonathan Ruiz. We're also going to be talking about that one. Number 12, Frank Sanchez. Number 13, Zan Kotsabuski. Number 14, Mike Wilson. Number 15, Lenier Pero. Top 15. Well, you know where we're going to go straight away with this one. Number 10, Mark Damori. Now, here's a guy who a lot of you will remember back in 2016 when David Haye knocked him out. David Haye, who had been inactive for 3 years. Of course, David Haye, he was supposed to take on Tyson Fury, pulled out that fight to go have shoulder surgery. 3 years later, he comes back and he takes on a guy who learned how to box from watching YouTube videos. Mark Damori, you remember that one? Anyway, since that fight, he took a bit of time off, but he has had quite a few wins ever since that moment. But the issue that I really have is, firstly, he hasn't beaten anybody because every single one of them were journeymen. Not just journeymen, but extreme journeymen, okay? And he hasn't had a fight. Well, sorry, he's had one fight in 2 years. He had a fight in 2019. Then he had a long period of break, as a lot of fighters do, obviously due to the restrictions and everything that's going on with the pandemic. But he had a fight 4 months ago against a journeyman by Laszlo Toth, who had 21 wins and 20 defeats. That is the extent of the opponents of Mark Damori 4 months ago. So my question isn't necessarily why is he ranked there, although it's a pretty bloody good one though, right? But why wasn't he ranked 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, last month? Why? But why suddenly now, this month, he's been propelled to number 10 in the world by the WBA? You corrupt SOBs. That's what you are. You're corrupt. Somebody pays a sanctioning fee and you rank them. It's not about whether or not they're good. This isn't a top 15 to say number 1 is the best, number 2 is second best, number 3 is third best. No. This is about who's paying money. Quite clearly, this is what it's about. WBA, either you're corrupt or you're incompetent. It's one of them. There's no way it's something else. You're either corrupt or you're incompetent. Mark Damori, number 10. Are you saying that Mark Damori is the 10th best heavyweight in the world? Really? Come on now. Behave yourself. Number 11, Jonathan Ruiz. Jonathan Ruiz, he's a guy who 14 wins and 6 defeats. That's one thing in itself. But of course, he did appear on a PBC show yesterday against a prospect, should we call him a prospect, who had 12 wins at the time, Michael Coffey. Of course, he pulls out a win. He stops Mark Coffey in, was it 5 rounds? I think it was, by knockout. Now, does that one win warrant a number 12 ranking? Oh, sorry, a number 11 ranking, beg your pardon. Does that one win rank a number 11 ranking? Bearing in mind that this is, for Jonathan Ruiz, this is, in his last 3 fights, he's lost 2 of them. One of them to F.A. Jagba. I don't see F.A. Jagba on this top 15 here. But he's lost 2 of his last 3 fights. His win came last night against Michael Coffey. We don't know how good Michael Coffey is, because he's still very, very early into his career. You could go and say that this is a bit of a shock upset, and you'll be right. But is he ranked there because what? Because he's defeated a PBC fighter? Looks like it. Is Jonathan Rice now a PBC fighter? Probably, because a lot of promoters, they do have an agreement that if you beat one of our fighters, we get to sign you for the foreseeable future. Usually 1 or 2 fights, right? To start with. So maybe that's why he's ranked in there. Also, because it looks pretty good, doesn't it? When people look at it and go, Michael Coffey just got beaten. It's starlet on the PBC who could go on to do great things because he's being promoted that way. What? He took a loss? Well, who did you lose to? Let's have a look at the rankings. Jonathan Rice, number 11. Okay, he's got to be pretty good then. Let's not even bother looking at his record, the fact that he's 14 wins and 6 defeats. Let's not even look at that. PBC bias much? Again, look at the PBC fighters. How have they got in the top 15 here? You've got Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz Jr., Charles Martin, Adam Kownacki, Gerald Washington, Jonathan Rice, Frank Sanchez. I don't know about Lenier Perra, sorry. Either way, that's 7. 7 of the top 15. 7! Bias? Of course you're biased. Of course you're biased. I think the WBA actually think that the boxing fans are stupid. Some are, let's be honest. Some of them are PBC fans, let's be honest. But when you look at it, okay, so Darren Dubois, he's the interim champion. So again, well played to Frank Warren for playing the cards, because Darren Dubois, he took a loss to Joe Joyce. In his comeback fight, after orbital bone surgery, in his comeback fight, takes on their number 1, quite why he was number 1, I have no idea, Bogdan Dinu, who of course has now been totally dropped out of the rankings. Why was Bogdan Dinu ranked all the way up there number 1? I have no idea. But even so, Darren Dubois takes him on his comeback fight, beats him of course, fantastic stuff, gets boosted in at number 1 as the interim champion. I mean, don't tell me the WBA are not corrupt in some kind of way, or they're not biased in some kind of way, or incompetent in some kind of way. Darren Dubois, number 1. I like Darren Dubois, I support Darren Dubois, but don't tell me that he's number 1 in the world. Don't tell me he's number 1 behind the champions, really. Okay. Alexander Usyk, okay. I mean, again, he is fighting Joshua for the WBA belt, along with the other ones, of course. Luis Ortiz, I say it each and every time I talk about him. Who's he beat? Exactly. Who has he beaten? Who's he beaten? Please somebody tell me who he's beaten. He got iced twice by Deontay Wilder. Yes, he's done very well in both those fights, but still, it's a result that matters. He got iced. His best win was in 2015 against Bryant Jennings. When are you actually going to step up? Andy Ruiz Jr.? Okay, fair enough. Charles Martin, do me an absolute favour, as Frank Warren would say. Do me a favour. He's number 5 in the world, is he? Charles Martin. Really? Really? Again, Charles Martin lost to number 8, Adam Kownacki. So why is Adam Kownacki ranked below Charles Martin? Why is that? Ajit Cabiel, a guy who ducked Joe Joyce. Ajit Cabiel, he was European champion, ducked Joe Joyce, vacated the belt so he didn't have to fight him. And who's he fought since? He's one of the most inactive fighters around. I'm not saying he's no good. I'm not saying that he's not worthy of a number 7 position, because the truth is, we don't know if he is. We know he's a top-ranked fighter. But who's he beat? Derek Chisora, when? Quite a few years ago now, wasn't it? Well, a couple of years ago at least. Number 6, Michael Hunter. Okay, Michael Hunter. Maybe he is a number 6 in the world. Maybe. Maybe. He's got some pretty good wins. Martin Piccoli, Kuzmin. His only loss was to Alexander Usyk. That was at cruiserweight. And he will be taking on number 14, Mike Wilson. Is that next weekend or something like that? That's going to be the headliner for Triller. But again, Mike Wilson, why is he there? Is it because he's going to be fighting Michael Hunter? What's Mike Wilson done at heavyweight? What's he done? Again, he's a career cruiserweight. Gerald Washington. Come on. Come on. You're telling me that he's better than people missing off this list? You're telling me Gerald Washington is better than Derek Chisora? He's better than Tony Yoka? He's better than F.A. Jagba? He's better than Joseph Parker? He's better than Joe Joyce? Now, of course, again, every single video, I was going to ask a question with these, but why is it that Tyson Fury's not ranked here? Why is that Dillian White's not ranked here? because they're champions of the WBC. That's why they're not here. So, but there are a whole bunch of heavyweights who should be ranked here, but they're not. Why they're not ranked here? Because they haven't been paying the sanctioning fees like the other ones have. You, WBA, you should be obliterated from the boxing scene. That's what you should be. Just bin you off, don't need you no more. If anybody wants to be undisputed champion, WBC, WBO, IBF currently. But even they're a little bit on the edge right now, aren't they? They're very, very close to being pushed. You guys should have been pushed off that cliff a long time ago. You are overly biased and you're blatant about it. You are blatant about it. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. Frank Sanchez, number 12. Okay. I'm led to believe that he's still going to be fighting F.A. Jagba on the Fury Wilder 3 undercard on October the 9th. That would justify his position. Fair enough. Zan Kotsabuski. He's a Frank Warren fighter, right? He's that guy. He's a Frank Warren fighter. But who's he beat? We know he lost to... No, he hasn't lost. Oh, I really don't know. I've forgotten. With like a Zan Kotsabuski. Lenier Pero. I'm butchering that name, even though it's quite easy to say, isn't it? Lenier Pero from Cuba. He's only had 5 fights. 5 fights as a professional. Very good amateur. Let's not say he's not. Very good amateur. But what does that mean in the professional game? What does it mean? Who's he beat? Journeyman. He's had 5 fights, 5 journeymen. Why is he ranked number 15? These rankings are abysmal. WBA, please leave boxing. Okay? Fighters out there, all fighters, except Lee Wood, congratulations yesterday. Please give up your WBA belt. Do something about it. You see, these guys are doing this kind of thing because you allow them to do it. I've had enough asking them to pull the socks up and actually do rankings properly. Employ people who actually know boxing. I'm fed up of saying it now. So please, just get out of boxing. Get out of boxing. Your rankings are abysmal. You're embarrassing. Quite clearly corrupt or incompetent. Which one is it? Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.